In this video, I'm going to show you how to install MCP, n8n all through Docker so we can use everything for free. I'm going to use the Docker desktop so that way we don't do any kind of coding at all. I'm going to show you step by step how to install n8n on your Docker and then also how to enable the MCP servers from your Docker image so that way everything works out locally for free in your own machine. So without wasting too much of your time, let's jump right into the video. All right, so the first thing you need to do, you need to head over to docker.com. If you're not familiar with Docker, don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. I'll show you step by step how to install this app so that way we can run everything through this Docker desktop app. All right, so once you head over to docker.com, just click on download Docker desktop. Make sure you're downloading for your proper computer. So whether you're using the Mac Apple Silicon chip or the Intel chip, and then also for Windows. So whatever computer you're using, make sure you select it properly. So for me, I'm using the Apple Silicon. So I'm just going to click on download here. And as you can see, it's getting downloaded. I've already installed it. So once this gets installed, you're just going to click on Docker image. And this is going to open up that Docker image. You're just going to drag it and drop it to application. All right, since I've already done it, I'm not going to do it again. But once you do that, it's very simple. That's all you need to do. So now the next thing you need to do is now you need to open Docker. And it's going to look something similar to this. Again, this is your containers and images and volumes. You don't have to know much about all these things if you're not familiar. I don't want to confuse you because again, the point is to just locally install everything and then just completely forget about it so that way you can use everything on your machine. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to head over to the top here. So right now, as you can see, I have no images or containers. So on the top here, I'm going to click on search and you're going to look for n8n. So just search for n8n and this is going to pull up all the different images that has the name n8n in it. Make sure you're pulling this one. It says n8n io/n8n. As you can see, it has 100 million plus pulls. These other ones are basically other people who have pulled it. So you want to make sure this is the one that you want to pull because I think this is by n8n themselves. Anyways, once you click on it, again, this is going to be the first one. So all you have to do is click on pull. And this is going to grab all of the information, all of the packages and everything for n8n, and it's going to bring it over to your image tab right here. As you can see right now, it's being downloaded or it's being pulled. And then once this is complete, we're going to make some configuration to make sure that this is all set up properly for us. So that way, when we run our MCP servers, we don't have any kind of run into any kind of issues. So let's go ahead and let that finish. And there you go. Perfect. So everything looks like it went through. So right now, as you can see, my container tab is empty. The image is, we have one image, this n8n. The next thing you need to do is you need to come here and click on this play button or run. And this is going to pull up a run a new container. So this is important. We need to have some optional settings enabled because since we're installing our MCP through our Docker, we want to make sure we configure some of these environmental variables and these other variables as well. So the first thing you need to do, you need to give this a proper name because otherwise it's going to come up with some random default name. So I'm just going to say n8n container or whatever you want to name it. All right. So afterwards, the host port. So I've made this pretty simple. I'm just going to head over to my community here, go to the classroom section. And if I come to Zubair's n8n automations, so everything is set up here for you, nice and clean. So that way you don't have to worry about looking for different resources. I've put everything in a nice format. All you have to do is copy and paste. Our community is a great space. We have a lot of other things that you can look at. Everything in the classroom section is designed for you to learn. We have our amazing community members who are always there and eager to collaborate with each other. And we have amazing calls on a daily basis. We have tech support calls, onboarding calls. We have 2 live builds and co-builds on a weekly basis. So that way you can see from start to finish how to create amazing workflows. And also in the classroom section, we have exclusive deep dive topics like full stack web apps with Lovable, with Cursor. We have voice AI agents, vector databases, and much, much more. And then also we have our recording calls. So if you miss any of these live builds or co-builds or tech support calls, you can always watch it in your time. Again, make sure you join the community if you're serious about learning n8n AI agents and how to stay ahead and be aware of all the new technologies that are hitting the market, whether it's you making money with AI or you're just trying to learn to make your own business efficient or sell this automation to your businesses. It's a great space for you to learn and collaborate with over 866 members. Make sure you join the community. I'm going to put the link in the description. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, so again, same thing. I'm going to be back here. So I already did actually an MCP. So I did this video with this tutorial, how to run all of this through npm. So if you want to check that out, that's another method. But for the Docker, you're going to come here and click on MCP plus Docker plus n8n local setup. And you're going to have all these resources. Everything is here for you to just copy and paste. So what we need to do is we need to come to the bottom, all the way to the bottom here. And you're going to grab this, this information that's set n8n Docker container. So actually, I'm just going to pull this to the side so that way it's nice and easy for us. All right, so oops, I think I refreshed this, so let me just do n8n container. Okay, so the host port you're gonna leave as 5678. So literally just all you have to do is just copy and paste these. I've made it easy, but you can type it and you don't have to, you know, copy and paste it. I'm just, like I said, I've made it easy here. For the volume, you're gonna leave the 5678 TCP, and this 5678 is going to be our local host that I'm gonna show you in a little bit once we install everything, which just means that on this particular port, every time you go to the port 5678, this is gonna run your n8n. All right, so once you do that, the next thing is a host path. So this is going to be a folder that you can, on your local machine, that you will save all of the n8n data. So I highly suggest creating a folder on your local machine somewhere. Call it whatever you want, but mine is going to be, I'm just going to put it right here. I'm going to head to Documents. And I've already made this n8n Docker. So I'm just going to select this and you're going to click on open. So this is going to pull up all of that host path basically, right? So the next thing is for the container path, you need to put this specific one. So if I maximize this, you will see in the bottom, I've set container path. So all you have to do is just copy paste this. So I'm going to copy this, go back here and paste it. Okay. And this is another very important one. For the environmental variables, we need to set our environmental variables to make sure that our MCP node allows tool usage, because that's going to be very important for our n8n AI agent, right? So I'm going to explain that a little bit, but for now, so if you go to the MCP n8n community node right here, you'll see that in the bottom it has all of these different installation guides. So you feel free to read through that if you want, but essentially what I did was I just pulled this information from there. So all you have to do is come to the bottom again, and you're just gonna, for a variable, you're gonna copy this, okay, and then paste it here. And then for the value, as you can see in the bottom, I've just said the value needs to be true. Okay, and again, this is coming in from this MCP n8n node, the community node that we're going to install a little bit. All right, so once you're done with that, all you have to do is now click on run. So now what this is going to do is this is going to, that's fine, allow access. So this is going to run that and create that container. As you can see, everything looks good. Everything ran through, and on the bottom it says localhost 5678. So now this is available on localhost 5678. So if I click on this, and there you go, right? So I have now this pulled up that says setup owner account, right? So it means that everything worked. Now we don't need to really touch the desktop Docker desktop app anymore. Let's go ahead and switch to our n8n now. So go ahead and set up your account. So I'm just going to put my account. I'm just going to put a password here. Okay, click on next. There you go. I can skip this later on. Sure. All right, I'm just gonna say get started, skip. All right, perfect. So now we got our blank n8n, and it's running all on Docker on our own machine. So you're all good to go. Now n8n is completely free that you can use on your Docker, and you don't need to worry about anything else. All right, so what now we need to do is, before we create our workflow, so we can just say start from scratch. As you can see, now I have my blank workflow here. But before this, we need to go ahead and install our community node, this n8n community node, because the MCP node currently is a community node, meaning it's not native from n8n themselves, but somebody from the community created this. And if I go to the top here, if I click on MCP n8n, so this is the community node that was created. That again is a MCP client node. All right, so what we need to do now is, first of all, we need to install this community node, right? So if I go to my n8n and click on these three dots next to your name, you're going to click on settings, and the left hand side you can see these are all the different settings that are available. In the bottom it says community nodes. So here you need to install, click on install community node, and the name for this particular node is n8n community node package name. It's this one right here. So you're just going to copy this, paste it, come here, or again, you can just click on browse and this will take you to the place. But like I said, I already put this together. So just type this and pause the video and type this. All right, so I'm going to click on install. So now this is going to install this community node that we'll be able to have access to moving forward. All right, perfect. It looks like it got packaged, got installed properly. So now we're good to go. So now let's go ahead and back to our workflow here. So I'm just going to name this MCP demo. Okay. It's always good practice to name your workflow so that way it doesn't get lost. All right, so now we need to add a first step, but before we do that, actually, we just want to make sure that your MCP node has been installed properly. So all you have to do is search for MCP, and there you go. It says MCP client, and this little box, it just indicates that this is a community node. By the way, if it doesn't show up, just go ahead and refresh the page, and that way it should show up afterwards, because sometimes it just requires you to refresh your page. But anyway, so instead of that, what we need to do is I'm going to head over to my community again, and I'm going to bring in this blueprint in the bottom. So I'm just literally going to download this, so that way everything is already set up, but I'll show you exactly what to do. All right, so now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click on import from file, and all right, perfect. So there you go. Now I brought all of this my workflow here. I'm going to show you actually how to create your credentials, but this just shows you that this is how we will set everything up. So I'm going to go ahead inside the AI agent, and then also the Firecrawl, and then the Brave list tool, the Brave MCP, so that way you can see how to install this. All right, so the first thing we need to do is you need to again create your AI agent. This is very simple. All you have to do is click on Add Node, Advanced AI. If you just click on AI agent, this will pull up your AI agent right here, and then you're gonna add a chat model. So go ahead and choose whether you have OpenAI, or you can actually use Ollama now to completely host this locally. So if you click on Ollama, your account will be very easy to set up. So if you have already Ollama installed, then all you have to do is just leave everything as it is, a base URL, and then you'll have access to the different accounts or the different models that's available on your account. But anyways, I'm just going to use my OpenAI, but feel free to use a local model as well if you want to. All right, so what we need to do is now we need to set up these two different MCP tools. There's the Firecrawl MCP and then also the Brave List MCP. Again, I've done a step-by-step tutorial on this already, so I'm not going to go through and add this one by one, but I'm going to show you how to at least add the credentials, so that way you don't get lost. And if this is your first time, it's very simple to do. So let's go ahead and check this out. So the first thing is we need to add our Firecrawl list, right? So if I click on Tool, if you just look for MCP, this is the MCP client tool. And the reason why we earlier set our Docker image variable n8n community allow tool usage equals to true is for this purpose, right? Because if this wasn't enabled, then we won't be able to install this MCP client as a tool to our AI agent. So that's why that's a very important step. So once you click on this, as you can see, this will bring you to this MCP client right here, as you can see. So there's two different tools, or two different MCP client tools that you need to add on your AI agent. First is going to be listing the tools, and second is going to be the command itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list one. So same thing, once you click on that, this will bring you automatically this particular area. So you need to click on create new credentials. So for our MCP client for Firecrawl, so if I go back to my community here on the top, and if I look at Firecrawl MCP server, so this is the MCP server for Firecrawl. And again, you can find all of these different servers. The main node is, let me see here, MCP guide, MCP servers. If I click on this link, so these are all the different servers that's currently available with MCP. There's a bunch of different ones, right? So feel free to check all of them out. I mean, there's a lot, and I think on a daily basis now there's like new ones coming up. As you can see, there's Stripe, Perplexity, Firecrawl right here. Firecrawl, this is the one that we're looking at. So that's why I came directly to here. But as you can see, these are all the different features and the how to install installation guides and everything else. But like I said, I've made it very, very simple. So all you have to do is come to the bottom and look for Firecrawl MCP credential setup. So for your, let me pull this here so that way it's a little easier for us to deal with. Okay. Bring this over here. And perfect. All right. So here's what we need to do for your credentials. Whoops. Create new credentials. So the first thing is the command, right? So if I head over here, bring this here. There you go. All right. So Firecrawl credential setup. The command is going to be npx. So I'm going to copy this, paste. The arguments, it's going to be -y Firecrawl MCP, paste. And then the environmental variables is going to be Firecrawl API key, okay, equals, I'm going to copy this so you can switch this to expression so that way you can see what you're typing, equals, and this is where you'll need to input your API key. How do you get your API key? You're going to go to the top here, you're going to click on this link, and you're going to create a free account, and then also you're going to head over to this section right here and create a new API key. I've already done that, but essentially just click on create new key, and this will give you a brand new key, and you're going to come here and paste it right here. Okay, once you do that, afterwards you click on save, you're good to go. Now your Firecrawl credential is set up. Now the next thing is we need to also install our Brave search credentials as well. So same thing, you're going to head over to the Brave MCP server, to this list, and you can see all the details about the Brave MCP server. Now the way to install the Brave search or the Brave search API key the way to install this is once you go over there, same thing in the bottom, I've made it very, very simple for you. So if you go to Brave search MCP credential setups, so we're going to do the same exact thing, create new credentials for the command. This time, same thing, you're going to type your npx. For arguments, oh, and by the way, make sure you're staying on this command line stdio, okay? And then for the arguments, I'm just going to copy paste this. So it just says y-y model context protocol server Brave search. For the environmental variables, same thing. You're just going to grab this, copy this, come here, go to expression, paste, and then you're going to head over and create your Brave search API key. You're going to click on this. This will take you to this page. Again, same thing, click create an account. It's all free. Click on add API key. This will give you an API key. You're going to come and paste it here and click on save. Okay, very, very simple. That's how you set all of this up. All right, so now once you're done with that, let's head over to our n8n again. So this is when you'll have both of your credentials set up. So the way to add your tools now is, let me get rid of this so I can install it fresh. Oops, I need to do that. So you're going to literally click on tools, same thing, MCP client tool, and you're going to leave this one operation as list tools. Okay, so you're going to have one that is a list tool, and then the second one, make sure you name it, because it's always good to name your MCPs. MCP, there you go, rename. Actually, this should be tools, Firecrawl tools. Okay, I'm gonna click on rename, and then the next one, same thing, you're gonna install it, but this time this is going to be execute tool. Okay, this is going to be the second command. For the tool name, this needs to dynamically grab the tool name from this list right here. So therefore, you need to put this command right here, this exact expression. And the way to do that, same thing. Oh, I closed my community. So I'm going to head over to my classroom, MCP, and you're going to come to the bottom and copy this. This is just a from AI function, which gives your tool name the ability to grab it dynamically from the list tools right here. Okay, so once you do that, you're pretty much all set. And then the tool parameters, you're going to just leave it as defined automatically by the model. So now let's go ahead and test this thing to make sure this works, right? So now I'm going to click on open chat. So let's test the Firecrawl first. So I'm going to say, hi, what tools do you have? Or whatever. So now this AI agent is going to use our OpenAI chat model to hit the Firecrawl tools, and this is going to list all the tools that are available for us, right? So if I go up there, these are all the 10 tools that are available within the Firecrawl MCP. So if I go inside this now, and as you can see, my AI agent, I haven't done anything. I didn't give it any specific system prompt. Later on, we can do that once we're building more complex tools. But as you can see, this is what it did. It just essentially knew exactly what to do. It lists all the tool. So these are the tool names. These are the description when to use these tool. And then it provides us that list right here. Okay, so this time, let's go ahead and try to utilize this execute command. So I'm just going to say, please scrape the info from AI-workshop.me. I don't know if this is going to work, but this is my website. So I just want to show that this is going to use this Firecrawl execute tool. So now it's going to use the Firecrawl tools to see exactly which tool to use. And it's kind of going back and forth. There you go. Now I finally figured out after the 6th try to use whatever appropriate tool it needed to scrape the information from this this website. So it says the crawling process for AI Workshop has started. The crawl will explore the website to maximum depth of 2, and it's limited to 10 pages. The crawl is set to allow external links, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it looks like it did work. So let's go ahead and see what happened here and which tool did it use. So if I go to my execute tool command, all right, so it used automatically from AI to grab the proper tool, and it used this fire crawl. So if we take a look at the response on the right hand side, there you go. It says started crawl for AI with job ID this, right? So it looks like it used the proper tool to start that job. Anyways, so now let's go ahead. So that was the fire crawl execute tool. So now let's go ahead and try the our Brave list tool as well to see if that works. So I'm just going to remove this from here, and I'm going to attach it to this one. So I'm just going to say, what tools do you have? Same thing. What tools do you have? So now this is going to hit this Brave list tools, and it's going to provide us the list of tools that it has available. And there you go. It has 2 tools, Brave web search and then Brave local search. So I'm just going to say now, okay, what are the best sushi restaurants in San Francisco? Okay, I'm gonna press enter. So now it should list the tools, and it should do the execute tool. There you go. So that way it can list that information for me. So let's go ahead and let it do its thing. And perfect, there you go. It provided the Hashiri, Bay Seafood Express. All right, great. So it looks like it worked. So let's go ahead inside this tool now and see what it did. So there you go, same thing. We had the same from AI tool selected tool to execute. So you use the Brave web search, right? And then on the right hand side, this is the result that it pulled up, right? So you can see now everything is working properly, and all through local hosted on your Docker. So everything is running now smoothly. And again, if you want to completely local host this, just remove this and add a Ollama chat model. And then from here, once you have your settings properly connected, then you can add your local server. All right, so that's it. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Make sure you join the school community, because we've got some amazing content there. And then also we've got daily calls. So if you run into kind of issues, then you can jump in and ask us questions. And we do co-builds and live builds on a weekly basis. So that way you know exactly how to create your own workflows. And we have cash prizes. We have amazing collaboration in our community. It's a great space to learn and collaborate with other like-minded individuals. So make sure you join the community. I'm going to put the link in the description. Thanks for watching again, and I'll see you on the next one.